Hi everybody, I'm Cory.
Hi, I'm Anna.
And we are from Kitten Cat Shop. We just got back a week ago from our first doll convention, and we wanted to share some of our impressions and experiences with you.
It was our first doll meet, doll convention.
We decided probably about a year ago that our next step in our journey as doll collectors was that we wanted to meet other doll collectors and not just watch them on YouTube.
Or chat with them on Facebook.
Or send messages on Instagram.
Did some research. There were some other ones that were sooner and later and different places, but it seemed like it was kind of either too far for us to travel or the dates didn't work out.
Yeah, either the timing was wrong or it was literally on the other side of the country.
Continent.
So we checked a lot of different ones.
Yeah.
And
I brought several to him and we were looking and back and forth. So we finally decided to go to BJDC, Texas, or Ball Jointed Doll Convention, Texas. And it's held in Austin. And this year it was held August 18th to August 20th. And the theme of the convention this year was Shakespeare's Midsummer Night's Dream. And here's the little program they gave us.
So once we settled on which one we were going to go to, we started making all of our arrangements.
Leading up to it, they have a Facebook group. Well, it's a Facebook page, not really a group.
Mm-hmm.
And they posted that they had contests. And this looked like a lot of fun. And so they had like diorama contests, and we kind of decided that a diorama would just be too hard to kind of, try to do
we were already taking enough stuff halfway across the country.
So, and then they had costume contests, and they had some photography contests. So leading up to the convention, that's when I got the bright idea that I would make the historic medieval Shakespearean costumes for Kit and Kat. And then when they were done, Cory and I, that kind of inspired us to do some photography.
Once we figured out that we were going to that Anna was going to make the costumes, we tried to find some stuff that we could do for the photography contest. And we did find a nice location and get a few good pictures.
So, and then we submitted those, and then it was time to get on the road.
So once we had all of the plans ready and we knew what we were going to do, we had to pick which dolls were going to go. Two dolls, it was a very easy decision because Kit and Kat insisted that they be the ones to go.
Well, it is their name on the banner.
Yeah. Plus, this is a princess outfit, and Kit insisted I want people to see me as a princess.
She is a bit of a
diva.
Donna, yeah.
She's a little diva. Anyway, once we had decided which dolls we were going to take, we were taking 5.
Yeah.
Kat is not actually out here right now, but
She's
she was
taking a
going
rest.
to. So we had 3 smart dolls, a Tonner doll, an A-Zone, and a Sursa, a mini fee.
Yeah.
And we literally had to take them halfway across the country. This was like a 1,500-mile road trip. So we did need to have a way to carry these dolls and to get them in and out of hotels because there was no way we were going to leave them in the car overnight at a hotel. So Anna was able to figure out a really good way to transport the dolls. And that was in, what is this?
People were talking about, how do you carry your dolls, and people were talking about using like Dolphy bags and then Mariah Carey's, things that are kind of hard to get your hands on now, or making a custom bag. And then somebody hit on the idea of the travel bags for the cricket machines, the silhouette machines, and that's what this actually is. I did modify it a little bit. Now the one I got, it actually has 2 layers, and it's very soft-sided So what I did was I made a little insert. So there's this little foam insert, and we were actually able to fit 3 of the smart dolls in here. We had to pop the heads off.
Yeah, that is one thing.
And
They're not going to fit in there completely
standing
assembled.
up. Yeah, well, because I took up some of the room putting the padding, but I like the rigid padding because I thought that helped protect them. But this worked really, really well. We were even able to, in the top layer, carry some of the props that they needed for the contest, and like a comb and a hairbrush, their stands. So that worked out really well.
After we had a night's sleep, we had to go to the convention a little bit early because we had stuff for the goodie bags that we needed to drop off before everything actually got started. So after we dropped that stuff off, we just kind of hung around up. There was a little lobby area outside of where all of the workshops were going to take place and where they were doing all of the registration and when people showed up. So we visited with some of the other people that were there early, and about noon we were able to sign in. They gave us the goodie bag and these sparkly, jangly
Yeah, you were thrilled about the sparkly name tag.
Cory, don't bedazzle.
A lot of the vendors, some of the exhibitors, and there was just a lot of people contributed to the goodie bag, and I'm not.
This is just a portion of what was there. There was stuff in there from people who were not at the convention.
Yeah, it's a really nice bag, and this actually kind of ended up my go bag for the whole convention. And with the theme, they gave us a little copy of the play, which is kind of cool because I love Shakespeare, so I'm happy that we have that. Dolls Magazine gave us like the 3 most recent issues, so you had something to read if you had downtime.
Yeah.
There was like fans, plushies. Some people made things to go in there. I thought this was cute. This was my favorite.
Yeah, I was quite happy with the tiny little scale VIP badge for the convention.
Yeah, so we had ours, and then Sarissa had hers, and Gigi wore hers the whole convention. There's like notepads and stuff like that, and actually I think I moved into the other one. The doll peddler actually gave everybody a wig, and
there was a
wigs.
small wig in every single one of these bags. I don't remember which size they were. They were small.
They were kind of random, I think. Those sparkles. Sorry, I got distracted by glittery things.
Yeah, there was something sparkling. Getting a wig was really impressive to me.
We got like the little tiny badge, which I thought was cute to kind of include your travel doll in that. I thought that was really cute. And of course we got our program. And then when we were doing the checking in, they also went over the workshops because I mean that's a major part of a convention, any con, anime cons or game cons.
Yeah, there's usually 2 draws to any convention. There are the workshops and the panels, and then there's the shopping.
Yeah, I think that might have been your favorite part.
I like shopping.
Let's move on to the workshops because to me that was my favorite part. I think.
And right after registration, that was when the first workshop was started.
Yeah.
So we went right from the table with the goodie bags after we'd rifled through them with everybody else. Going, ooh, ooh,
yeah.
ooh.
We're all kind of comparing notes. Which wig did you get? What color did you get?
Then we went into the first workshop, and that was BJD Basics.
Yeah, with Sherry Ryan. I think I pronounced that right. Sherry. Yeah.
After she introduced herself in that, we got to know her a little bit. So it was just Cher for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah.
Lovely lady. I liked her a lot. And her husband was awesome too.
One of the things that got me is because I'd been looking online and I tried to make my own BJD. I couldn't figure out why I couldn't get the doll's elastic, the stringing to work. Everybody kept saying it's too loose, it's too loose, it's too loose. And then she actually had stringing material there, and we were able actually to see, and then it was like, oh, my elastic is too stretchy.
Yeah,
I was getting the wrong kind. So Sherry, if you see this, I got the right kind. So after the BJD Basics class, there was another workshop on pattern drafting, and that one was from Marcia Cash, and she has a company called Traveler in Time, and she does really detailed outfits and some fantastic sewing, and we had a really good time chatting with her, and she was showing how she makes her slopers. The tape and tissue method, which was really interesting. I mean, we all kind of come at drafting differently, and hers is a very organic approach that I think would work for a lot of beginners. So that was fun.
We really liked photography with the dolls, and this was a workshop on doll photography put on by Dr. Deborah.
Dr. Deborah, yeah.
And she is the editor and creator and owner of Stand.
The Stand magazine. It's
Stand
a
magazine.
doll lookbook, and I've actually got one. We can kind of show it later. And it's an online magazine as well. But that was fun because she was showing us some of her tricks and techniques and
a lot of
how she does her photography.
She was talking about her process.
Well, it actually kind of rekindled, because that's how we got into the hobby, was doll photography. So it really inspired me and energized me to want to get back into that. So after the workshops and the panels, that's when they had the convention doll pickup. And there were actually 2 dolls for the convention. One was with Connie Lowe, and the other was with Kay Wiggs. And that's kind of, I think, what was going on when I came out of the workshop, is there were people there waiting for their...
Yeah, because I was already out there. I saw that everybody was starting to show up because they were very excited to get those dolls.
So we had a little time, which was fun, because the free time we got to chat and meet and everything else. And then it was time to get ready for the first dinner, the welcome dinner.
Yeah, and that was really fun. And that was where we finally ran into Allison.
Yeah, we actually ended up sitting next to Allison and her husband, who somebody referred to as Mr. Allison. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
You guys had a good time. You guys got to chat
Yeah.
about non-doll things.
Yeah, I apparently was there to entertain the husbands who were dragged there.
So, and then I looked over behind him and I saw a doll. And I was like, so a lot of times people use avatars, or when you're seeing things on social media, you recognize the dolls.
Yeah.
And I recognized the doll, but I couldn't remember who the owner was.
Right.
And I went, Cory, that doll's wearing our stuff.
Yeah, and it was basically a doll in a bikini with a tail. And I could see that it had the belly button on is one of our items. So I get up and I go over there and I just start looking and I tweak it, and the lady says, "Do you like that?" I'm like, "I made that."
And then she screamed.
She screamed, "You're kidding, Cat!" I'm like, well, me and her.
And then we realized it was Cindy Lozano, and I love you. You were so sweet. We had such a good time, and it was such a moment for him. Because a lot of times people just kind of assume it's just me.
Yeah. Anytime there's something on social media, and people are talking about Kitten Cat Shop, they're like, she has this, she has that. I'm a doll people too.
And I think Cindy was the first one that was the first one that we actually got to meet in person, well, other than Allison, that night. And then it was like everything just, it's like all our internet smart doll friends started coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah, and Cindy, thank you so much, because for a few minutes you made me feel like a rock star.
That introduced you to the other Cory.
Yes, that was actually during the dinner.
He was fantastic. He actually did like a dramatic reading, and he was the prize runner.
And he was the prize runner, but it was really weird for me Deborah and Jane are up on the stage and they're drawing out the names for the door prizes. And every time they did, they'd say, and Cory's going to do this, and Cory's going to do that. Like, wait. So every time he went by, I said, hi, more popular Cory.
And then it actually became a thing on the weekend. But it was a lot of fun that night.
Yeah.
And they had a fantastic display, and I tried to get some photos and some quick videos. Lynn McCoy and Karen Sharp, they actually went, because BJDC has been going on since 2004 when it started as a Super Dolphy meetup. Each year they had a theme, and originally they did outfits, and then later on they started doing convention dolls.
Right.
And it was really cool because they had these displays set up so that you could see all the dolls from the various years of convention and the displays.
They had either
really cool.
a doll or an outfit for every year that the convention had been going. And that was really cool.
That was really interesting because we got to see the different types of dolls and as they changed over the years.
So we had to get up early on Friday because there were two things happening. Number one, there was the breakfast buffet for everybody, and after that, they were going to open up the sales floor so that people could set up their tables. We got into the vending floor at 8 o'clock and got our table all set up, everything all nicely arranged. And we were waiting for 10 o'clock when everything was going to be open to the people who were attending the convention. It was going to be open to everybody the next day. This was just for, the first look goes to the people that actually paid to be there. And we were ready, we were hurrying, we got everything ready to go, and we were all set up, and we're like, okay, 10 o'clock, the doors are going to open. And there was absolutely no reason for us to be in a hurry at 10 o'clock. Because at 10 o'clock, the doors opened and everybody went right past us. And they went over to Connie Lowe's table.
Yeah. Well, she was kind of the star of the convention. And it had painting canvases. It had a tree.
Yeah,
she had like antique furniture, so it was a whole diorama. And she explained later that it was Midsummer Night's Eve themed, or dream themed, and what it was is the one side of the tree, everybody was dreaming and sleeping, so she had the sleeping dolls in the bed, and then the other side is when they're that rich fantasy life, they were all alive and everything. But yeah, it was like a basement sale at Barney's. It was just boom, arms and credit cards and
I looked over there and was watching it, and all of those stereotypes that you see on TV and movies that you think are not real, it was real. I literally saw somebody with an iPad taking pictures over the top of other people.
Yeah, it was dangerous.
Yeah, so that was, but after Connie sold out, basically 5 minutes later, people started wandering around the floor, and there's a pattern. Everybody goes around the outside,
that's
and then
what
they
you do. You go around the outside, then you weave through the inside. You got to see everybody first, kind of take mental notes of what you want. But I tell you, that might have been a mistake, because there were a couple of booths that I saw them setting up, and I said, I'll go back there later and, possibly buy something. And by the time I got there, they were sold out. It was fun to see the artists. Oh, it was a lot that day.
Yeah. Luckily, because the Friday was only for the attendees, it wasn't quite as busy. So that was when you had time to go and look around.
Well, they had workshops in the afternoon.
There were a couple of workshops as well.
And they did break for lunch. We went back to the sales floor, but it was a little quieter in the afternoon. The sales floor, I think, closed at 4 for that day, and then there was a panel afterwards. It was a Q&A with Connie Lowe. I found it really interesting because Connie was able to tell us about about Stella. Stella's actually kind of a character based on her mom and her process and her thinking, and kind of explained the aesthetic of the dolls and the design of the dolls, and I found that really interesting.
I wanted to go to this because it was, the title of it was A Journey in Writing, and I have dabbled in writing, but the big thing was, if you've watched any of the other videos that we have, we tell stories with these guys, and so I wanted to know about this journey in creative writing. It gave me the opportunity to see more than the doll. It wasn't just a doll. It was a story. And I thought that was something special.
Yeah, and there was a lot of moments during the convention that were like that. And when we came back, that's when they set up for game night. But before they started the games, that's when we were bringing our dolls in for the costume contests and the diorama contest. And when everybody else came in, that's when they got to vote. And when you voted, you got a little prize. So for the competitions, they had a diorama competition. I think there was a couple of different categories for that. And then for the costume competition, the contest, they had like amateur and professional. That was Jen Denon. She was the one that was in charge of the contest.
Another lovely person that I wound up talking to in the hotel restaurant, waiting for food to be prepared.
So, and they did like door prizes.
After everybody had voted, they did some more door prizes, and then it was time for game night.
Yeah.
And they had we're not going to talk too much about all of the games, except for the ones that really stand out. But they had a bingo.
They had
every table had a champagne glass on it with little numbered rocks.
that was our raffle numbers.
Yeah, so everybody had to draw this little rock with a number painted on it, and I was the big winner at our table. I got this squishy dog. Now, spoiler alert, this is the only thing I won all weekend. Between door prizes, games, the big drawing at the end of it, I just got this little weird squishy dog.
The other Cory won a prize.
Oh yeah, other Cory, more popular Cory won a prize.
He had all the luck. So one of the games they had us play was like a Project Runway. They gave us these little dolls and then like threw craft supplies in the middle of the table and said, dress your doll, decorate your doll.
And it has to fit the theme.
Yeah, and I didn't win, but I thought she was adorable, so I took her home.
There was the Shakespeare contest.
There was some real real talent in that room.
There were a lot of very good topical sonnets written, and very dramatically delivered.
Yes. So that was a lot of fun. We were tired though.
Yeah, and that ended at just about 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Saturday, the final day of the convention, what this convention did was on Saturday, they actually opened the vendor floor to anybody. So you did not have to pay to be there.
It was free to the public.
And I've never seen that at any of the different
Yeah.
kinds of conventions that I've been to. I thought that was really neat. Very supportive of the people that were there to be a vendor. And so there was a pretty good crowd that day.
Yeah.
And that was where we finally got to meet Kat and Ben of Magical Girl Kit Kat, because we've been talking to them forever. And we were so excited to see them.
And we saw some other people too. We got photos. Kit and Kat got their moment to meet other dolls.
Yeah, we had a cute idea that while Kit and Kat were in costume, we set them up at one end and had a little sign that said, "Have a selfie with Kit and Kat."
But we got to meet Ben Stevie.
Yes, we met
his zombie
Stevie.
Stevie. We got to meet Stevie in person.
Yes.
We got to see other dolls too.
Yeah, that was really the biggest thing for me is we've kind of been focused on one particular kind of doll and just barely started to branch out with the Minifee and the A-Zone. But we've had our eye on a bunch of different ones. I've been looking, because I like the anime aesthetic, been looking at the Dolphies, but never really had any real temptation to get them. And because of what we saw at this convention, I found something out. Folks cannot photograph their own products. These Dolphies are way cuter in person than they appear on the Volks website. I was quite surprised by that. There was one other vendor there who had an SD Dolphy Dream that came down to our table and wanted to know if our kit would work in there. We did not want to say, yeah, it's going to work in a doll unless we knew.
We knew it.
We knew with certainty that it would. I am so grateful to her because she gives us the opportunity to say, we now know for certain. And
now we have photographic proof.
And now we do know that the Kit and Kat No Hole Earring Kit will work just fine in an SD Dolphy Dream.
But speaking of the Dolphy Dreams, there was somebody had their doll in full cosplay.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We are fans of Ruby, RWBY. And there was a girl there who had done a complete Yang costume on her doll, and it was spot on.
Yeah.
I mean, 3D printed bracers.
I honestly would have thought it was like officially licensed.
I would have bought it.
Yeah.
I would have bought it. I seriously would have bought it.
Yeah.
And we got to see
two
another Ipple House.
Yeah, we got to see a boy and a girl the FID size.
Oh, there was that.
And she let us hold the Ipple House because he's been looking at those, and I have as well. She let us hold it, and I'm just like, oh, it's your baby.
Yeah, we get really uncomfortable with other people's dolls.
And she was, it was great because she was like, if you get this. This is the size that this one is. This is the curvy body. This is the medium bust. You don't want the large, you want the medium.
Yeah.
It was nice because it's very inclusive. In fact, I even saw some pull-ups. And there were a couple of people that had things for Blythe dolls as well as some of the smaller BJDs. So that's what I really liked, was just the variety and seeing this doll collector community.
Yes.
Sharing and enjoying dolls just for
just to share their dolls.
Yeah. So yeah, I did get to do a little bit of shopping. I don't want to kind of get into that whole haul thing, but yeah, it was fun getting to do a little bit of in person, meeting the people behind the Etsy store or the online store. So I really like that too, and it was a sense of community in the vendor room.
Oh yeah.
Especially toward the end of the day when most of the attendees were going back to their room to get ready for the banquet, and most of the public had kind of already done their thing.
Yeah. The sales floor was closing at 5, and by 4 o'clock it was pretty much hurry back, and it was time for the end of the convention banquet. And this was the big deal for me.
Yeah,
I mean,
this is the big deal.
The vendor area that we had been in had been completely cleared out and been set up all fancy.
Yeah,
and
sit down dinner, fancy sit.
Yeah, I mean they had place settings and all these forks and
fancy origami salad.
Yeah, and you have to understand that our normal dining involves us having to bus our own table. We do dishes like this. So they had a lot of the people who had contest entries had moved them into there. There was one new diorama that had not been a part of the contest.
That one was by Lynn McCoy and Karen Sharp, and they took ball jointed dolls and had this huge diorama set up in the corner of the room.
It had to have been 4 or 5 feet tall. It was in a corner, and there, I think I saw like 6 or 8 dolls in there, and there were leaves and trees.
Dolls flying, and dolls on fountains, and dolls hiding in the moss.
It was quite incredible, and I'm glad that they did not put it in a contest because it would have swept all categories.
But yeah, that was amazing. I was really impressed with that. I love that. And they had decorated the tables. We had little favors.
Mine was broke.
Yeah,
mine didn't work.
But they had a ton of door prizes.
Yeah, this was when they were giving away the last of the door prizes, and there was still a ton.
Oh yeah, I think just about everybody went home with something. Just about everybody. You got Squishy Dog.
That's all I got was Squishy Dog. I mean, they get to the last of it and nothing.
Well, yeah, it's like when they got to the end, they had like gift certificates for Denver Doll Emporium.
Yeah.
There were dolls and
Rabbit Ronin donated a lot.
Yeah, and I actually won a doll. It's this little doll. Marty Garner is the last name. She was the one we had lunch with. Yeah, we had lunch with her at the hotel the day before. She donated the little BJD and an entire wardrobe and the wig. And Allison pointed out that the wig was the same color purple, so Cory and I have dubbed her Mini Marty.
This is Mini Marty.
She said it was okay. I asked her. She said it's okay to call her Mini Marty.
It's Mini Marty.
Yeah. So she has a baby sister now.
They also announced the contest winners.
Oh yeah, the voting for the contest. So that
a couple of the people that we had made friends with won.
So they announced those, and then they had the photography contest that was before the convention.
Right. People had to submit their photos beforehand. And this one was not one where the attendees voted on. This one was all done by the panel of the people that were putting on the convention. And Anna had submitted two photos.
Yeah.
And she actually won. One of the photos won that. And so she got this.
We don't know which photo yet.
No.
But from what I understand, there will be like a souvenir book, and all of the contest winners, their photographs, and the winning photographs from the photo contest will be in the souvenir book.
Yes. And
so when that gets here, I'll update everybody on Instagram.
We'll let you know, because I'm pretty sure that the photo that won is the one that I took.
Yeah, there was the studio photo I did with Cirsa as Tatiana, the queen of the fairies, and then we did one. We haven't shown it to anybody because
that one never went on Instagram.
No, that one was just for the contest first, and that one is Kit. We found a place that worked like a castle tower. So she's got this lantern, which he rigged up so it actually lit up and everything. So it looks like she's the lady climbing the tower stairs.
So they announced all of the diorama winners, the costume winners, and the photo winners.
Yeah. And that's when they started doing the last of
then they started
big
doing
door prizes. Yeah, there were some amazing dolls that were door prizes for that.
Well, they were not.
Wow.
They actually called them something different other than door prizes. They were the doll prizes.
Yeah, the doll prizes.
They were drawings. They were big enough prizes that anybody if you had won a door prize before, they actually put all of the door prize winners back in.
That was so much fun.
Everybody asked me what I won, so I told them that I won a whole bunch of Jack Diddley squats. I won the squishy dog.
You won the squishy dog.
And that was kind of the end of it. The organizers said their thanks and they said their farewells.
And they announced next year's theme is going to be Let's Sail Away.
Come Sail Away.
Come Sail Away? Okay.
Come Sail Away.
And
it's going to be earlier in the year next year. They said they
June.
thought they were shooting for June.
Yeah, they're shooting for June. Same location, same hotel in Austin. So that'll be kind of fun. I would like to go again, and I think Cory would too.
Overall, I mean, we've talked a lot about what it is we did and the things that we saw, but like we stated at the very beginning of this, was our first doll convention.
Yeah.
What are your takeaways on this?
Well,
what are the things that stick out in your mind?
I had a few things. Well, the biggest things that stood out in my mind was just the camaraderie, the friendship, and the openness for everyone to share, and just to make those personal connections. Because it really wasn't the vendor table. Yeah, that was kind of one of our things that we wanted to try because we hadn't been, and when we started with the dolls, COVID kind of took away our chances for meetups and stuff. So this was our first live interaction. There were some things that stuck out in my mind as far as if somebody else wanted to go to their first convention. I'm usually an introvert, and I did get a little overexcited, a little overstimulated.
Yeah.
I think I think the next time I do something like this, I definitely need to set aside time to kind of quiet time. So my list of tips was bring a friend.
If you're at a vendor, bring a friend, but especially if you're going to be a vendor. You need somebody that can watch over things while you need to take a bathroom break or just step away for 5 minutes.
You will not be able to do any shopping.
Yeah, if you don't have a friend, you're not going to get to shop.
And a travel doll. I would say definitely bring a travel doll.
Yeah, if you're going to a doll convention, you should bring your doll. It doesn't even have to be your favorite. It doesn't have to be your biggest, but just something that's special to you. If you do struggle with breaking the ice or talking to strangers, if you've got your doll, 9 times out of 10, somebody's going to go, "Ooh, what's that?" And the ice gets broken for you.
Mine was bring a wallet, coon, and bring cash. But there were places that you could do PayPal or anything, but I think cash was probably the easiest for most of the small purchases.
Yeah.
And then I said, bring an empty suitcase.
Yeah.
You're gonna need it for the dolls you buy, the dolls you win.
Just the dolls who you're with wins. Otherwise, you only need room for a small squishy dog.
And what would be your takeaway tips and hints?
I already mentioned earlier about if you're a vendor, have a helper, have somebody else with you. You're going to want to bring some beverages to drink.
Yeah.
You're going to want to have some snack type stuff that isn't going to go bad. But if you don't bring that stuff, you're going to have to buy it from the hotel.
Energy bars.
Make sure that you have all of the things necessary to take care of yourself. Really fantastic to see different kinds of dolls. And that was the biggest thing for me, was it gave me a chance to, I mean, most of the dolls that we look at to buy, we're looking at them on websites, and it's really hard to tell whether you're actually going to like this doll unless they're doing a really good job with the photography. But there is just that something when you've got it right there in front of you that makes it a little bit different. And the Dolphy, that was even more so.
Dreams, yeah.
But I honestly had a lot of fun at this convention. It was nice to spend 3 days where there was no judgment, and that was absolutely fantastic, even if it's just for 3 days. Being in a judgment-free zone was very nice. So it was a lot of fun, and I honestly would like to go next year. I don't know if we're going to be able to swing it, but I would have no problem going.
10 out of 10 would recommend.
Yes. So that's basically it for our report about the convention. If you have questions about anything that we talked about, or if you want more information, throw a comment down there, and we do respond to the comments. We would really appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification. We're still a growing channel, and every little bit helps. So that's about it for this. If you have a chance to go, I recommend you go. And we are hoping that we can go to other ones in the future, so we can get a basis for comparison. But thank you very much. This has probably been a very long video, longer than our normal one, but there was a lot to cover. But again, thank you for joining us. Thank you for everything that you guys do for us. We do these videos because we want to give back to you guys. And please let us know if we're succeeding with that. And you got anything else you want to say?
No, that's it. You guys have a great night.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.